going to thank Keith for bringing a lot of prelude to us. It's really great. It's really great fun. Thank you, honey. We got Brian Dozer in the house all morning long. I'm very excited. A lot of great stuff.
Thank you, Cleveland.
It's Detroit. 1, 2, 3. We are one love world.
We are one. 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 In this world of constant changing, all our lives are rearranging now. All the struggle, all the pain are part of what we call the game. And harmony calls my name. Things don't have to stay the same. Peace on earth, goodwill to men can happen once again. We are one love. We are one world. Put your hands together now, every boy and every girl. We are one love. We are one world. Take some time to help your brother, and then you'll understand. One love, one world. One love, one world. Let your spirit shine. Oh, stand up, stand up, stand up, stand up. Put your hand in mine. Stand up, stand up, stand up, stand up. Let's sing one more time. We are one love. We are one world. Put your hands together now, every boy and every girl. We are one love. Some time to help your brother, and then you'll understand. One love, one world. One love, one world. One love, one world. One love, one world. So there's a Christmas concert coming up on Friday, which you're going to hear a lot about. So spread the word and bring your friends.
Excellent, thank you, Brian. We are raising money for the new soundboard, which we are really, really in need of. If you hear some things come in and come out, it's time.
It's time. It's not just a song. It's a movement now.
It's actually really time. Yeah.
And it's also a good portion of the fundraising. We'll be going to a fund for Patty Barkis to help with some health issues. So if you're not, Patty's definitely one of my wives from another life, and anything we can do to help her would be great. And if you need more information, I know Maura has the link. There's a link to a fundraising site as well for her.
Well, we'll talk about that right before the heart opener. Thank you. Thank you, Brad.
Sure. Night has turned to day, night has turned to day, night has turned to day, oh mama, now night has turned to day, 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 oh mama, now night has turned to day, 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 oh mama, now night has turned to day. At the peak of my delusion, I was not that seen the light. I was swooping with the bad ones. I thought I had won the fight. At the peak of my delusions, I love money, girls, and cars. Now I'm walking in the sunlight, broken, battered, bruised, and scarred, but I'm so happy. Night has turned to day. Night has turned to day. Oh mama, now night has turned to day. 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 Oh mama, now night has turned to day. In the middle of the conflict between me, myself, and lies, I saw people die for nothing. I served lies to hungry eyes. When I swam deep in the river of my conscience, I defined self-reflection, new direction, to a healthy state of mind. I thought I'd never find. Night has turned to day. Night has turned to day. Oh mama, now night has turned to day. Night has turned to day. Oh night has turned to day. Night has turned to day. Oh mama, night has turned to day. But I ain't going back to the work. I ain't going back to the work. No, I ain't going back to the work no more. That's captured all the dreams of happiness. I'm gonna find the highest ground to stand on. 3 lives is enough, child. Oh, night has turned today. Night has turned today. Night has turned today. Oh, mama, no, night has turned today. Night has turned today. Oh, night has turned today. Night has turned today. Oh, mama, no, night has turned today. Night has turned today. Night has turned today. Night has turned today. Oh mama, no, night has turned today. One more. Night has turned today. Night has turned today. Night has turned today. Oh mama, night has turned today.
If you are comfortable standing and joining with the hand of the person next to you, this is our community song, Surely the Presence.
And we know this is true because we are here together in this beautiful sanctuary, in this beautiful place, on this beautiful day, recognizing that if we perceive it, everything, starting from the inside looking out, is beautiful. So we are glad to be here. We are open and receptive to the living Spirit of truth, to the message, to the song, to the drum beat and the vibration and the energy of love. That is why we gather every week. And so it is. Amen. You may be seated. Hello there. My name is David Tompkinson. I will be facilitating today. And I'm fresh in from Texas, where we had Thanksgiving. Texas, where the highways are filled with billboards, each advertising the best barbecue in Texas. And I gathered with my family, who are all vegetarians. But we had a good time. We want to welcome our streamers who are joining us. Hello, everybody. And I do have some announcements I want to make. I'd like to welcome everybody. Glad you're all here. I guess that the open mic in the Thanksgiving Eve was fantastic here. I guess it gets better and better every year. So I can't wait till next year. Maybe I'll stay home. If you're here for the very first time, we would like to acknowledge you. Would you mind standing? We'd just like to welcome anybody who's here for the very first. Raise your hands. Thank you. I may be a little jet lagged, so please cue me if I'm missing something. Anybody else for the first time? Keep your hands up. We want to give you a welcome packet and a flower. Greetings. We honor all paths to God, and so we are so happy that you are here with us today. And take that flower, by the way, and you can get a 10% discount in the bookstore, where we have lots of wonderful things for sale out there. Let me see. Okay, I got that covered. We are a center of celebration, transformation, inspiration, and spirit-centeredness. And I want to add one word of gratitude and thank you. About 3.5 weeks ago, we said goodbye to our beloved stepfather and church member, John Davey. I just want to say thank you for all the wonderful expressions of love that came from this church to our family. It was just so moving to have a place like this where we could be creative and have a wonderful closure with our beloved John Davey. So all this inspiration and celebration, it's all true about this worship center here. But let's say together our mission statement. We are a vibrant spiritual community that celebrates the present in all and awakens humanity to its divinity. And our vision, centered in love, we joyously co-create a world of oneness, peace, and harmony. Now, I do have a few brief announcements. Brief, unless they're not. We want to welcome today our guest speaker, who is Garland Landrith. And I'll be introducing him more a little bit later, but I want to mention that he is hosting a workshop this afternoon after the service, Living Your Dreams by Unlocking Your Subconscious. We'll begin at 1 o'clock from 1 to 4:30 right here in the sanctuary. And then there's a part 2 on Monday, tomorrow, 6:30 to 9:30 p.m. So be sure to sign up out there at the desk in the bookstore for this amazing workshop. Holiday decorating will be today after the service, starting at 11:30. A few people already started, but we're going to finish it up. We hope you can stay after and help us decorate for the holiday season. Tuesday is Giving Tuesday. Let me see. What's Friday and Saturday and Cyber Monday? We're going to have Giving Tuesday. Please check your inserts. There's a list of needs that the church has that you can help with. So check that out. And on Tuesday, we're going to make it happen. Today, we'll be kicking off our annual giving tree. We have a tree out there with the names of young kids who could use Christmas gifts. And they go pretty fast. So be sure to pull a name off of the tree and then make your donation. You'll have until December 10th to buy your gift. Okay, this is the time of our service where we greet each other in peace and say namaste with a handshake or a hug. So get to know who's standing around you there.
So before we start our heart opener, I think this is a perfect time to talk about a couple of things. One is the concert that is coming up on Friday, and we hope as many of you as possible can come. It's a great supporter to the church. It's a great support for the new soundboard, which we desperately need. Brian did a lot of wonderful work to get us the very best price possible on the top level gear. And it's a time to talk about truly supporting someone in a darker time who really supported this church. Amen. Thank you. When Shipley was making her transition, I don't know if you folks knew, but Patty Barkus donated over $3,000 of her fees back to this church. I'm going to tell you what she has because she's given me permission. Patty was diagnosed with squamous cell carcinoma of the tongue. She survived that tongue cancer, a different type, 30 years ago when we were also friends. Patty is the sister I got to choose. And we have walked so many miles together. Her support of so many people here is like the true love. It's true love. It's the ability to give beyond capacity and to still stand brightly. So because of that radiated tissue from 30 years before, the only earth plane option that was available to Patty Barkus was to dissect her tongue and to render her unable to speak. Most of her neck would have been removed, most of her chin, and a feeding tube for a year. Now, this is one of my dearest people ever. I don't ever want to see her go through that. However, the treatment to save her life is now at $100,000. Grab a pen, because I'd love for you to write this link down. It's the Weber, W-E-B-E-R, 1B, foundation.com. theweberfoundation.com. This is an incredible charity that gives 100% to any cause they do. Just to give you a sense of how light worker that is, United Way gives 11. The beloved Red Cross, who I yay, gives about 9. This foundation will give 100%. They were the second foundation on the ground in Houston after the hurricane. This is Elizabeth Weber's foundation. Elizabeth Weber, blessedly, happens to be Patty's sister Barbara's best friend. So we are in very good company to help Patty. So we have already raised around $25,000. And that's a lot. But the momentum is starting to drop. So what I'm asking you all to do, give whatever you can. But then I'm asking, with a big capital A, that you invite 4 people to match you. My donation, and it was fairly modest, turned into $3,800 by asking. If everyone did that, the math serves that we would raise that money like that. Part of the proceeds of the Christmas concert is going to Patty Barkus because she made sure this program kept going when we didn't have it to keep it at the level that it was. And I could call her any time to come. She has sung with Extreme, the Pointer Sisters. She was featured in the Dick Tracy movie. Patty has an immense career. Her last job was to open for Extreme. And she's the only person who survived tongue cancer because she knew when to tell the Western world yes, and she knew when to tell them no. And I trust her again, people. So many things. Come for joy to the concert. Please come. Please support us. You don't see a lot of poster support here. Come support us because I'm asking. Please come. We're going to have a lot of fun. Cup of Joe's coming. Chuck Walker is coming to help me because I was having trouble pulling off the huge volume of a concert with my friend going through what she's going through. I couldn't even bear to think of Baby It's Cold Outside. So please come and bring any people you know and ask anyone you know who will give you a solid to save one of the finest lives I've ever known. And I'll see you on Friday with all bells and smiles on, in a heart that's crying a little bit. So thank you so much. I trust you and I count on you. And I want to thank my music team family, because they are my family. Thank you so much. I turn it back over to Bri, where he reminds us that everything is holy now.
Because I care. When I was a boy, each week, Sunday we would go to church and pay attention to the priest. He would read the holy word and consecrate the holy bread, and everyone would kneel and bow. Today the only difference is everything is holy now. Everything is holy now. When I was in Sunday school, we would learn about the time Moses split the sea in two, and Jesus made the water wine. And I remember feeling sad that miracles don't happen still. But now I can't keep track, as everything's a miracle. Everything's a miracle. Wine from water is not so small, but an even better magic trick is anything is here at all. So the challenging thing becomes not to look for miracles, but finding where there isn't one. When holy water was rare at best, barely wet my fingertips. Now I have to hold my breath like I'm swimming in a sea of it. It used to be a world half there, heaven second-rate hand-me-down, but now I walk it with a reverent air, 'cause everything is holy now. Take it, Keith. Child's face, say it's not a testament, that'd be very hard to say. See another new morning come, say it's not a sacrament, tell you that it can't be done. This morning outside I stood and saw a little red-winged bird, shining like the burning bush, singing like a scripture verse. It made me want to bow my head. I remember when church let out, how things have changed since then, but everything is holy now. It used to be a world half there, heaven second-rate hand-me-down, but now I walk it with a reverent air, 'cause everything is holy now. Sing it all together, here we go. Everything is holy now. Everything is holy now. Everything is holy now.
give it up for Brian Dozier. I love you, Brian.
I love my spiritual community. We're going to get behind Patty.
Thank you, thank you, thank you.
I'd like to introduce our guest speaker, whom I really didn't know until this morning, Dr. Garland Landrith. To give you a little background, he's done research that was cited in the movie What the Bleep. I remember that. Saw that one at Unity Village, actually, first time. Also has been cited, his research, by Deepak Chopra and Neil Donald Walsh. He's been featured on numerous radio and TV shows and taught over 30,000 people effective techniques on how to manifest their dreams by letting go of their intentions. Sounds pretty fascinating, so Dr. Landrith.
Thank you so much. Very glad to be here. Thank you so much. Let's see, is this working? Thank you so much. Oh, there we go. Good. Wow, that music is incredible. That jam session in the beginning of the jazz jam session was amazing. And where'd you get this guy singing up here? I don't know where he came from. One thing you might try, I don't know if there's a drug involved with this, you might try calling the drug company. I've had clients do that before, and they get these magical drugs for half price, a quarter of the price. Just a thought. We can, with miracles, remember the song is Miracles. So just a thought. So I had a chance to meet Reverend Organ at the Unity Convention. I actually attended a seminar he gave on grief. Very inspirational guy, and very, very profound. But the best part about him, you can tell he really, really, really cares. He has a magical heart. And so does this congregation. The vibes in here are amazing. I've been in hundreds of Unity churches, and trust me, this is a very unique group. So today we're going to talk about miracles, if the song didn't lead in. And scientists hate the idea of miracles. That's because when a miracle happens, a law of nature gets violated. But the truth of the matter is, in quantum physics, miracles happen all the time. Let me give you some examples. An object can't be in two different places at the same time, right? Wrong is right. An electron circling an atom, if nobody's watching it, it magically turns into energy waves. So not only is it in two different places at the same time, it's everywhere at the same time. So, another one, Einstein's law of relativity. Perhaps the most important rule of the whole physics science. And the pillar upon which that rests is nothing can go faster than the speed of light. In 1931, two very famous physicists by the name of Schrödinger and Heidelberg proposed a theory called quantum entanglement. In quantum entanglement, if you have a couple electrons circling an atom, they become quantumly entangled, which means beyond time-space limitations. So even if you were to separate them by 1 trillion miles, if you pushed on one of them, the other would instantaneously go in the exact same direction. So instantaneously that if they were to communicate, it'd be faster than the speed of light. Einstein hated this theory. At one point, he called it spooky action at a distance. In 1981, Einstein was proven wrong. And then they redid the experiment in a new cyclotron in Switzerland a couple, 3 years ago, and they found that not only did two electrons communicate faster than the speed of light, it was 10,000 times faster than the speed of light. If you're going to break a law of nature, you might as well go all the way. But here's the issue. The spookiest thing in physics is the idea that consciousness itself is indeed the quantum field. Consciousness itself is the quantum field. Now, in the movie, many of you saw the movie What the Bleep, but I'm going to kind of say something that's really kind of complicated here. Don't bother concerning yourself if you can't figure this one out, because I'm going to try to explain it a little ways so it makes it real simple. The movie didn't do a great job of explaining it. So remember that section where they were shooting those little balls of electrons to the slit and they were lining up in the back wall? And there was an eye watching. Well, the eye represented consciousness. As long as the eye was there, the little balls stayed in nice little, neat little balls of electrons, meaning it symbolizes a particle of electron. As soon as the eye went away, there were 16 lines on the back wall. So what happened? Well, what happens is the little balls of electrons turned into energy waves, and the energy waves interfered with each other. In much the same way, like you take a couple pebbles and you drop it into a pond, it produces waves. And then the waves hit each other, and they produce waves, and then they hit each other, and pretty soon you got 16 waves instead of 2. Same thing happened back there. Now, what does this mean? Well, it means without consciousness, you can't have matter. Without matter, you can't have stars, you can't have galaxies, and you can't have people. In short, you can't have anything without consciousness. Now, this is interesting. Who is the consciousness that's creating something out of nothing? I think in a roundabout way, physics has discovered God. Interesting. Now, we have consciousness. Is our consciousness the same consciousness that's created this whole universe? Interesting question. Well, I can cite over 1,000 studies plus that have proven that our consciousness, we can also create miracles. Now, I like to separate them out into 4 different categories. The first category is the prayer research, which, by the way, Unity Church has been an active participant in. And one of the reasons I like Unity Church so much is they believed in their message so much so, they subjected it to scientific scrutiny by participating in about 4, 5, 6 different prayer studies that I'm familiar with. And the second group of research studies, the research studies that I was involved with, those are the research studies that showed that groups of people meditating can actually change the outside world and make it a better place, including reducing crime rates, auto accidents, and suicides. Awesome stuff. The third group is the research that shows that we can know things before they happen. And the fourth group is the research that shows that consciousness can even influence machines. Far out kind of stuff. So let's start with the prayer research. Now, most of you are familiar with the prayer research. Most of the stuff happened in the early 80s, middle 80s. They'd start praying for a ward of the hospital. They wouldn't pray for the surrounding wards. And the ward they prayed for would get well faster, have less need for antibiotics, have better quality of life, and also, in some cases, less deaths than the surrounding wards. Now, most scientists poo-pooed this early research. They claim that the people doing the praying happened to pick the ward of the hospital that had the best doctors and the best nurses. And that's the reason why they got those results. And the people doing the praying had an uncanny knack for figuring out which of those wards had the best doctors. And they were really, really good at it. Then finally, in 1988 or 89, I can't remember, one of those 2 years, they did a double-blind study. Now, double-blind is as good as it gets in research. It's the Cadillac of research studies. Double-blind is where you pray for one group, you don't pray for the other. They're randomly assigned to the hospital, so nobody can say one ward had better doctors. And he did a bunch of these studies. In fact, there's been well over 250 studies done on prayer. And they had the same results as the other prayer research. And there was hundreds of them done. Finally, scientists said, okay, there is something to prayer. But here is what prayer really is. It's positive thinking. Now think about it. Is prayer just positive thinking, or is it something else? Interesting question. Now, you can't be coming to this wonderful church without knowing the value of positive thinking. But is it just positive thinking, or is it something else? Well, a study was done in 1999, done by Unity Church, of all places. One of my favorite prayer studies of all time. And what they did is they did something called a triple-blind study. Now, what's a triple-blind study? Well, let's say I'm sick, and Reverend Ogan is praying for me, and I get well faster because he's praying for me. But he doesn't tell me. If he doesn't tell me, I can't be having positive thoughts about it, right? I didn't know. They did a whole study like this. All the people they prayed for didn't know that they were being prayed for. So there could be no positive thoughts. In fact, even the nurses and the doctors in the hospital didn't know they were being prayed for. What they did is they took everybody that entered a hospital over a 6-month period, 1,200 people, prayed for half, didn't pray for the half, and nobody even knew about it. And guess what? Same results as the other prayer research. That's mind-boggling. It means that prayer is not just positive thinking, it's something else. Might I say spooky action at a distance? And so they did another triple-blind study out of Columbia, New York. And they had people, and had two interesting twists. They had people praying in America for people in Korea. So somehow the prayers had to go through molten rock and whatever else is in the middle of the world and arrive at the right person in Korea. And the second interesting twist is a women's in vitro fertilization clinic, women trying to get pregnant. And what they did is, again, it was a triple blind. The women did not know they were being prayed for. And guess what? The women who were being prayed for had a 50% greater chance of getting pregnant than the women who weren't being prayed for. Brings up a whole new dimension to the idea of immaculate conception, but we won't touch that one here. So, what we've seen is all over 250 studies, and only a handful of them have not come out significant. I would say probably the prayer research is the most reliable research out there. Look at coffee. 1 week coffee's good for you. Next week a new study comes out, it's bad for you, right? But here's the deal. There is no electromagnetic field emanating from our brain that gets past the skull bones for any appreciable amount. In other words, somebody praying 100 feet away or somebody praying 1,000 miles away, there is no energy there. This is one of those spooky action at a distance kinds of things, those quantum kind of things. The same way of that, with the second group, is the meditation research. Now, I was the first person to get any of these studies done way back in the 1980s. But when they were published in mainstream journals, it was even more amazing. And what we did is we had groups of people meditating, and we found that they would reduce the crimes, auto accidents, and even suicides. Now, after we'd done 20 straight studies, every one of them came out significant, we decided to do a demonstration project right after President Clinton was elected in Washington, D.C., to demonstrate to the world that we could do it. So we took 4,000 transcendental meditators and waltzed in there. And while we were there 6 weeks, we reduced the crime rates over 23%. Now, we even told the mayor, remember Mayor Barry? He was the cocaine mayor. He was okay, he was clean then, but... And then we told the police chief, we told the newspapers, we told everybody in advance what we were going to do before we even arrived there. That's how sure we were it was going to work. If it didn't work, they would have poo-pooed all of our other research. And so what we do is we go in there about 7:30 in the morning, maybe 8 o'clock, somewhere around there. We'd all be together in one big, huge ballroom. And we'd meditate till about 1, then go again about 3 till about 7. And a lot of people have asked me how we did it. And they always tell me, you must have been thinking about crimes, right? We must have been thinking about reducing crimes, because you can't manifest something without having intentions, right? Right? Wrong. I like that, man. Very good. Why don't you take over? I'm going to go take a break. So, very profound. Thank you so much. We never once thought about crimes. Never once. What we did is we got out of the way. We let the divine flow through us. God already knows what you want. When you want something, what are you attracting? Lack. You don't have it. Surrender the results. Guess who said that? Charles Filmer, one of the co-founders of Unity Church. Surrender the results. Turn them over. Get rid of them. Get out of the way. You can't get to the quantum by trying to get there. It's everywhere, but you can't get there by trying. You have to learn to get out of the way. The next group of research studies that proves that we're quantum beings is the research studies that happen by accident, if there is such a thing as an accident. And what happened, this happened about 12 years ago. They were doing a psychic study. They had people lined up in front of TVs. And in front of each TV, the person was sitting there, and they had to guess in advance which photograph was going to come up on the TV. So there's two types of photographs, negative and positive ones. The negative ones were very gruesome, people in morgues. The positive ones were nature scenes. And the people couldn't guess in advance which photograph was going to come up on the screen. But lucky for us, that was not the end of the story. Because what happened next was, because the negative photo was so negative, the researchers had a brilliant idea. Let's hook people up to GSR machines, which is similar to a lie detector. It measures anxiety in the body. And to see if there's any spikes in the in the anxiety every time the negative photo was presented. When they analyzed the data, they were totally flabbergasted because there was indeed a spike. But guess what? The spike happened before the negative photo was presented. So our bodies knew it was going to happen before it happened. Remember the old adage, I knew it in my gut? There's a lot of truth to that. And there was no spike before the positive one. Now, they thought they did something wrong, so they repeated the experiment in a different laboratory. In fact, it was overseas in Europe. They wanted to get away from that laboratory as quick as they could. And they found the same results. Then they looked in the MRIs inside the brain. They found the whole brain would light up with anxiety about 4 seconds before the negative photo was presented. Well, nobody did anything with these studies for 10 years. 2 years ago, plus or minus, a very famous psychologist named Dr. Bem, and I've taught a lot of psychology classes. He is in every textbook. He decided to revisit it. He did the study 10 times. 9 of them came out significant. The chance of that happening by sheer chance alone is 1 in 4 billion. He submitted for the publication at the Journal of Social Psychology, a very conservative psychological journal. They decided to publish it, but they had a big caveat on the front, saying, first of all, we don't believe it's true. How can you know things before they happen? That doesn't make any sense. You see, he must have done something wrong. There was anybody other psychologist who wouldn't even bother to publish it, but since it's Dr. Bem, we were going to try to help you. We couldn't figure out what he did wrong. He must have done something wrong. Maybe you guys can help us figure out what he did wrong. So right now, psychology is going through turmoil. Personally, I think it's a good thing. Psychology is finally entering the quantum age beyond time-space limitations. Now, this brings us to the fourth group, the group that shows that consciousness can even influence machines. Now, this was done by a group out of Princeton, engineers and scientists, who decided to, they had a brilliant idea. They said, if our consciousness is quantum field-based, let's design a machine which is quantum field-based and see if the consciousness can influence a machine. Makes sense to me. So they used cosmic radiation from outer space, which is indeed a quantum field type thing. And they built a machine. It's similar to a random number generator, but it's not exactly random because the radiation from outer space is a very, very uniform, very reliable kind of thing. In fact, you can run atomic clocks on it. And so the output from the machines was 101010, very reliable. Then they had college freshmen concentrate on these machines to see if they could change the output from 1010 to 111 or 000. And after hundreds of thousands of trials, they found that there was a significant but very, very weak effect. Personally, I don't know how they managed it, because I remember as I was a college freshman, I could barely get out of bed, much less influence a quantum field random number generator machine. But they were able to get these kids to do it. Then they had a brilliant idea. Let's put 3 or 4 of them together and see if the effect is stronger. And that's what they did. The more people doing it, the stronger the effect. So they put these machines all over the world. And there's been over 250 of these so-called episodes where machines go crazy. Instead of 1010, they do 111 or 000. For instance, Katrina, remember the hurricane? The opening ceremonies to all these Olympics, billions of people watch those ceremonies, machines go crazy. The tsunami, you name it. OJ trial verdict. Well, the machines were going on during 9/11. 2 amazing things happened during 9/11. First of all, machines went crazy for 4 straight days. Nothing like that's been seen before. But the machines also started going crazy 4 hours before 9/11 actually happened. That's before the terrorists even got in the airplanes. We as a collective must have known what was going to happen before it happened. This is mind-boggling. So what we've seen is we've seen a series of well over 1,000 studies that shows that our consciousness is the same consciousness, part of that same consciousness that created this whole universe. That's what it's proving. Now we can draw 3 or 4 major conclusions from this. First of all, life after death. Think about it. If our consciousness is quantum-based beyond time-space limitations, when the brain dies, our consciousness doesn't have to die. At least a part of our consciousness doesn't have to die. Makes sense, right? Now, here's the other one. We're not alone. the research I did, the research, the prayer people, all that stuff, we've proven that our inner consciousness is related to the outer consciousness around us. We're connected. Dr. Jill Bolte Taylor, very famous neuroscientist from Harvard, had a stroke that shut down her left hemisphere. Instead of being in agony, she had the traditional mystical experience. She had 6 of them. She said the only reason she came back to this earthly plane was to let people know you got to get out of your left hemisphere. The first thing she experienced when she was out of her left hemisphere was she was connected with everybody in the universe. She said for the first time in her life, she wasn't alone. For the first time in her life, she wasn't alone. Unbelievable. We got to get out of this left hemisphere. And what is the left hemisphere? That's the hemisphere involved with intentions, thinking, the monkey mind, right? Not so easy to get out of there. So, but that brings us to the next point. Together, we can make a bigger difference than we can alone. When we come together and we pray and meditate in this amazing church, the collective consciousness not only is in here, but it goes outside as well. Just like that quantum entanglement. You push on one electron, the other electron goes in the same direction. It's amazing because we are making a difference. Just the other day, 2 months ago, there was a study done on gay marriage. 65% of America is now for it. Just 2 years ago, 65 was against it, including all our presidents. And it wasn't a political thing. There's no big, huge political thing going on there. It was a shift in the collective consciousness. We are making that shift happen by doing these techniques. We're responsible for it. This is huge. Look at the way they do war now. They make sure we don't bomb randomly. Everything is done with greater regard. We're moving in the direction of greater love and greater compassion. It is really an exciting time to be here. And this is also the time for Thanksgiving. We have a lot to be thankful for. And lastly, but not least, everybody in here has doubts at one time or another. It is so refreshing to be living in a time when science is proving what we know to be true in our hearts, proving spirituality. It washes away these doubts. This is indeed the most exciting time that I've ever been around. And thank you so much for inviting me. Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much. That's right. Okay, good. Good. I need a good meditation after that. All right. So what we're going to do, and I would love to come to that. If I can make it, I will come. You guys have amazing music over here. This is incredible. I felt like I went to a concert already, and I was just sitting in the front row. So for two or three songs. So let's start off. What I want you to do is I want to put your hands over your heart. Put your right hand over your heart, and your other hand over that one. Sit comfortably. And we're going to start off by taking a deep breath into the heart. And releasing. Another deep breath into the heart. And releasing. Another deep breath into the heart. And releasing. Another deep breath into the heart. And releasing. Now I want you to think of someone or something you feel love towards. Could be your little munchkins, your significant other, your little doggy or kitty. Feel that love. releasing it into a flow by letting thoughts and noise come and go. My spirit is awakening. I feel my love flowing, flowing. I am flowing. I am flowing throughout the whole universe, connected with the stars and the galaxies. I've got stardust in my soul. The same divine love that created this whole universe is flowing within me. I am being held in the arms of God. I am safe. I am truly blessed by all the gifts I've been given. And I'm truly blessed by all the gifts that are already on their way. Thank you, God. I love you. Let's take a deep breath into the heart. And releasing. Another deep breath into the heart. And releasing. Another deep breath into the heart. And releasing. Another deep breath into the heart. And releasing. Amen.
Thank you, Garland. That was an exceptional and inspiring talk. There's more that lies underneath, making its way through the cracks and crevices of our popular culture. Good to hear. And so with that, let us put our attention on these prayer requests that are in our prayer box, and know that in truth, the goodness and the requests and the desires that are expressed here are already being fulfilled. And so it is. Amen.
We got this on. We got it. In the stillness of this moment, there is peace, there is peace. In the stillness of this moment, there is peace, there is peace. And I rest and trust and breathe and know. In the stillness of this moment, there is peace. In the stillness of this moment, there is peace, there is peace. In the stillness of this moment, there is peace, there is peace. And I rest and trust and breathe and know. In the stillness of this moment, there is peace. the stillness of this moment, there is love, there is love. In the stillness of this moment, there is love, there is love. And I rest and trust and breathe and know, in the stillness of this moment, there is love.
I'd just like to take a moment to recognize our chaplains, these beautiful souls. If you'd mind standing, if you can. If you have a prayer or anything you would like to share with these people, they will hold your prayers and intentions in the strictest confidence. Thank you very much. Also, I can give a testimony about our home and hospital prayer chaplains. Is Annie Houghton here, who runs that program? Not here today. When my father-in-law, John Davey, was in the hospital, Annie made a visit. This is a wonderful service that we offer here at this church. And remember, we do have the prayer box in the back. If you'd like to, in writing, submit a prayer request, just put it in the box there. We will recognize it. This is the time in our service where we know that giving is the same as receiving. We share our tithes and our offerings. So let us together say the prayer for the offering. There it is. Divine love, as me, blesses and multiplies all that I am, all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive. And while we take the offering, go ahead. This might be a good time, actually, Garland. I'm making for you to come up and talk about your workshop while the plates go around or the bags go around.
Yeah, I think I've got this. Well, I'm excited about being here. One of the things I've probably taught well over 30,000 unitics, people that go to Unity churches. And one of the questions I always ask people, how many people know what their problems are, but they keep making the same mistakes over and over again? Now, almost everybody raises their hand. Okay, this is not your fault. These are old brain pathways. And they kind of control us to some degree. And this is stuff in our subconscious. In fact, Deepak Chopra and Bruce Lipton have both said, unless we can get to the subconscious, these energy techniques won't work as well. And this is also going to help enhance our positive affirmations. We've got to find a way to integrate into more and more deeper consciousness when we have these positive affirmations. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to teach you how to use the quantum to manifest with, and also how to access the hidden doubts. Because if our conscious mind creates realities, then so does our subconscious mind create realities, because that's also consciousness. So if we have hidden doubts and fears, that will also create realities. That's why so many people take one step forward and one step back at the same time. So what we're going to do is we're going to clear out these things using tapping along with heart math. We've kind of modified heart math. We're going to use that as a vehicle to get us into a higher state of consciousness. Because when you want something, you're attracting lack. So we're going to be sending love, not just sending love to attract abundance, but we're going to be giving love at a higher state of consciousness and then surrender it to the quantum. So we're coming from a place of abundance instead of lack. So we're going to teach you these techniques to kind of help you get out of the way. Because we're already there. We just have to learn how to get out of the way. That's the only thing we really need to know. So that's what we're going to do. And if you can't make the class, you can come to this class. I'm allowing people to take one day, but preferably it's 2 days. But if you can only take one day, we'll allow you to come to one class. And if you can't make today, then try to come early tomorrow around 5:30 so I can try to catch you up from the stuff you missed today. And there'll be 2 classes, but it's actually 1 class. And you get a bunch of workbook, you get a bunch of DVDs, all kinds of neat stuff. So we need numbers. If we're going to change the collective consciousness, we need numbers, so I keep it really cheap. I think it's only $49 for both days. And you get all this stuff, because we need numbers. So, and we're making a difference. It's already happening. We just want to get through this phase transition quickly so there's not so much negativity. So anyway, that's what I'm here for. The class will transform your life. You're going to teach you how to use these things to get jobs, sell houses, you name it. And and if you can't take the class, then you can take it home with you. We have CDs and DVDs you can purchase. And you can get on the mailing list, and I'll send you free stuff. So either way. And I'm also doing personal appointments on Monday and Tuesday if anybody wants. So thanks again.
So we attack spirituality from all different angles, and we are so blessed. So let's bring our offering baskets forward. We can give thanks for your contributions. So let's open our hearts to express the thanksgiving and the joy that we feel for the opportunity we have to be able to return to us that which is ours and we receive. Thank you for these gifts. Thank you for this church. So it is. Amen. How am I doing so far? A lot of my mind gets challenged with all the moving parts, but I'm doing all right. So let's, okay, let me find where I am. Okay, we have just a couple of brief announcements. We have a coat drive going on. You can bring your coats in here and drop them off, ones that you don't need anymore. That's that. Teddy bear drive, your teddy bears. I don't have the long story for these announcements. Teddy bear drive, you see some teddy bears, hold them up. Any of you have them, hold them up. You know what we're going to do with these. We're going to take them to the nursing home and give them to residents there. So keep doing that. And thank yous, general thank you for so many people that gave their time to this church this week. Our angels are Jim, Mike, Ginny, Frank, Keith, and all of those who brought in food for our Thanksgiving potluck. Okay, the teams. Our youth and family volunteers, our bookstore volunteers, office volunteers, live stream team back here. We want to say thank you so much. And also to our board that does all the behind-the-scenes work to make this place function. Board members, would you please stand so we can recognize you? Very good. I think that's it. I'm going to turn it over to my friend Brian.
Before we go on, I'd like to just give you more details about the concert because there wasn't a slide. It's going to be this Friday at 7:30. Doors will open at 7:15. There's going to be cookies and cup of joe, to go with cup of joe. So come on over there. There'll be hospitality after, and we greatly appreciate sharing the fun with you all, getting a new soundboard and helping Patty. And that will be this Friday at 7:30. Anybody wants to bring cookies? That'd be great. All right, thank you so much. There you go. See, ask and ye shall find. Better late than never.
All right, I'll say one thing. Please come to the Christmas concert. And it's been fun to sing a lot of songs 2 weeks in a row. I feel like I got through a lot of my Unity catalog. And thank you for the suggestions of some new stuff to learn as well. This is one of the newer ones I've learned as well. The source of everything. Oh, all around us and within us is the source of everything. Breathing in, breathing out, every breath cleansing down. When we lift the veil of judgment, we are all one family. We lift the veil of judgment, we are all one family. Heart to heart, hand in hand, one in love, in me. God in everything that we see. Oh, lift your head up, lift your heart up, raise your voice in praise of God. Oh, lift your head up, lift your heart up, raise your voice in praise of God. First your Father's kingdom, and your good will come to you. Oh, seek ye first the Father's kingdom, and your good will come to you. With all your heart, and all your mind, and all your worries are far behind. Trust your soul, where it may lead. Love will satisfy all your needs. Oh, lift your head up, lift your heart up, raise your voice in praise of God. Oh, lift your head up, lift your heart up, raise your voice in praise of God.
Brian, you played that like you've been playing that for 100 years. All right, let's bring in the kids. Oh.
Namaste. Namaste. We got a kids program. So today, everybody hold up your pictures. We drew pictures of what our favorite part of Thanksgiving was. We had a lot of, everybody really likes pie, apparently. We got a lot of pie lovers. And we also, you all have to come in and see, we decorated our Christmas tree. So you gotta come see it. It looks awesome. And I guess I've been told it was slightly announced already, but we are part of the Giving Tree. So I have the sign-up sheet. I'm going to put it in there. But to grab one of the lovely snowflakes and buy a gift for the lovely kids that don't have as much as we are all thankful to have, you get to keep the snowflake. That's our gift to you guys. But please attach the slip to your unwrapped present and bring it back by December 10th. Thank you.
Okay, let's rise and sing our peace song together. Let's do it right here. Who's going to pray? Who's going to say our prayer for protection? Here we go. Okay, right into the mic.
The light of God surrounds us.
We are the light of God.
The God,
Presence.
the presence of God surrounds us.
We are the love of God.
I'm not much help.
The power of God protects us.
We are the power of God.
The presence of God watches over us.
We are the presence of God.
Wherever we are, God is, and all is well. And we are richly blessed.
Amen.
Night has turned to day. Night has turned to day. Night has turned to day. Oh, mama, no, night has turned to day. Night has turned to day.